Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll explain what expressions are. You'll learn how they work, what they are, and most importantly, how to use them while working with the BuddyBlocks platform. Let me first explain what an expression is. An expression is at its core a piece of JavaScript code that can do a variety of things. It can do basic calculations like 2 plus 2 equals 4, or combine the input from a user, like a user's first name plus their last name is their full name. These are very basic functionalities. Expressions are way more powerful than just that. You can also dynamically create file names or convert types of data you're working with so that it matches the type you need. In other words, expressions are an insanely powerful tool to use while developing your application in BuddyBlocks. So let's start off with some of the basics. The syntax of an expression. As stated before, an expression is basically some JavaScript code. So if you know a bit of JavaScript, that's nice. And if you don't, then don't fear. You can find a lot of information in our documentation. Plus, we'll walk you through the basics in this video. Not every single expression has the same syntax. Some expressions are just basic operators like minus for subtraction, using the plus for summing things, using the divider for division, the multiplier for multiplication, or using the angular brackets for checking if something is more or less than another value. As an example, if number x would be 2 and number y would be 5, then the above expression will result in a 7. The two curly brackets indicate that we're dealing with a variable, data that can change. Without them, the expression doesn't know where to retrieve the data from. If you want to receive a text saying something like, I am number 7, then you can do this quite easily. The syntax to add a string of text to an expression goes like this. The quotation marks indicate that we're dealing with text, literal text. We're using the plus operator to combine, or glue, so to say, the next part onto the string. As you notice, the previous part of number x plus number y is also surrounded by parentheses. The reason for this is because we want the value to be calculated before gluing everything together. Because if we don't, the outcome of the expression text together will be I am number 25, or number 2 and number 4 or 5. So using the parentheses means that it'll calculate it first and then glue it to the string of words before. So with expressions, we're able to do stuff such as combining text or doing simple calculations. But there is way more to discover. For example, automating your dates and times. We can save the current date or set a current date plus 2 weeks. Stuff like that is useful for making a password forget flow, for example. We can specify that the reset password link is only valid for 30 minutes. Getting the current date looks something like this. To add more days, or perhaps add 30 minutes of time to the current date, it is advised to switch to the date time offset step. This is a separate step you can find in the block store, and it's insanely powerful and works just like how you use an expression. But if you want to, you can use the expression step as well. Just saves you a lot of time setting up that whole expression when a step has been pre-made for you. Some of the other expressions consist of so-called functions that'll do something based on the input. An example here would be to check whether a variable is there or not. This is helpful when you want to check the ID of a certain object and if it exists before you update it. You can use something called a ternary operator that works like the present ? Function. What this does is in a short JavaScript style of writing. It'll check if a variable is there and return it to us, either true or false, based on if the variable is there. The syntax looks like this. First, we have a variable like user object. Put the variable in quotation marks, and then we use the question mark followed by a true, colon, and then a false. You can read this as, is the user object variable there? Question mark. Yes, then return a true, else return a false. Ternary operators can go pretty in depth, but in the end, it's all JavaScript and mathematics basically. If you want to learn more about using this, then make sure to check out our documentation and or learn JavaScript to start using all of these functionalities. So let's dig a little deeper into the expression step of Betty blocks. Beside setting keys and values as the variables you can use within your expression, expressions also have one of three outcomes. It is either a text, a number, or a checkbox. A checkbox result is basically a boolean with a true or false within. Within Betty blocks, you can specify the output type from the dropdown, and then you can give the associated variable a name to use further in your action flow. So as an example, if you set the output type to text, then the result will be used as text. Hopefully it's a bit clearer of what expressions are, how they're made up, and what kind of stuff they can do. Remember to check our documentation to get more ideas of the possibilities of expressions, since this video is just the starting point of all the possibilities. See you in the next video.